This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Feeling good. I mean, season's underway, and I thought Miami looked pretty good for the most part. I know there were some mishaps on defense, but good start to the season.
Yeah, I do have some concerns. Two of my concerns that stood out to me, and I want you to walk me through these. One, I don't think there were enough sacks by this defense. And by the way, respect to the kid on the other side. If that kid, the quarterback, if he was on a real, frontline type of team, he would be a player, man. I like that kid. He was a tough dude. But I don't think they got enough sacks. And then I'm also looking on the offensive side, and Xavier Restrepo was terrific, but then nobody else showed up, and this is crap competition. So I'm wondering if it's stiffer competition, how much harder is it going to be on Restrepo if there isn't anybody else to take pressure off him, because this is not a good team you just played. I was expecting some other guys to make some noise. So that concern about the receiving core kind of magnified it for me in this game. Walk me through it and walk me off the ledge.
Yeah, well, let's start with the offense. First of all, Mario, we knew there were going to be more balance, right? There was going to be more of a focus on the running game. So from the get-go, I think the game plan was to be more of a run-heavy team. Number two, I think, they're saving stuff, obviously. They're not trying to show anything exotic either. So this is the kind of opponent where you line up, you block your guy in front of you, you push him around, and you do that. So from a receiving standpoint, I'm still not where you're at, where I'm ultra concerned, but I see your point, because at some point, somebody other than Xavier Restrepo is going to have to be dependable in that passing game. And I agree. But I think we kind of have to wait and see here, because I just don't think they were flashing enough of what they can actually do. If you catch my drift, it was just more
I totally get you, but
yeah,
just mano a mano without having to. If you have to scheme against these guys, oh my God, really? It's it's kind of like a scrimmage where the scrimmage in public is kind of or preseason football where it's kind of vanilla. But okay, vanilla means show me that you can beat them straight up. And that's what I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more people beating them straight up without having to scheme. You are playing Bethune-Cookman.
Right. No, and I get it. There were 5 passes that they threw 15 yards down the field or longer. That was it. 5 passes the whole game. TVD had 4 of them. Jake Garcia had the other. I just think my sense was they were playing very conservative and just trying to run the football and not show anything at all to anybody, not put anything on tape of value. So to me, I'm the jury's still out for me on the receivers, but I can see why that would be a concern, because you'd say, hey, line up and run past the cornerback and just beat him down the field, right? You can do that once. Again, I can't. I just think they were so focused on the running game that was the priority. Like, we're gonna just line up, helmet to helmet, knock you back, and that's what Mario wanted to do. He wanted to establish that sort of attitude with this team. Defensively, you mentioned the sacks. Only 2 sacks in the game. You'd have to sit there and look at every single play and say how many times they brought the blitz. I didn't think they blitzed very often, if at all, except on like 3rd down, like traditional blitzing downs. Again, saving maybe some of their more exotic stuff. But I will say this, the quarterbacks for Bethune-Cookman, and you mentioned it already, those guys were very, very elusive. They could get out of containment pretty easily.
Yeah.
They were fast. I think what got exposed was the lack of speed, really, that Miami has at the linebacker position and on those edges. Back in the day, you wouldn't worry.
They weren't impressive.
No, back in the day, those guys would have chased those quarterbacks down without a problem.
Yeah.
But again, it is a different era in terms of the players that Miami's getting. They're not getting the elite defensive ends anymore and edge rushers. These are kids that, they had to go to the transfer portal to get 5 guys, right? I mean, those actions speak louder than words to me. That he went in there and got 5 defensive linemen. So, fair concerns. The bigger thing to me was the coverage. Just again, you look at the secondary, kid like DJ Ivy missing a tackle, Cam Kitchens, missing a tackle, going for the pick instead of the receiver. Those, they had 10 missed tackles in the game, which was better, right? Because we saw 30 against Michigan State last year. So 10 I could live with, especially, 10 is usually about the average these days in college football. But the breakdowns in the secondary to me were a little bit more concerning. And the pass rush, I think, will get there. I just don't think they showed a lot. I'm going to blame it on being vanilla in that game as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see that. I just wanted to see a little more. It's not like something that I'm, oh my God, shocked and really like, oh, they can't fix it. But I do have to worry about like, okay, well, wait a minute, man. I'd like to. This is the kind of game where you want to see other receivers than Restrepo kick ass. In other words, I would have liked to have seen Restrepo with 30 yards himself because I already know what he is. I would have liked to have seen somebody else with 100 yards. You know what I mean? That would have made me feel a little better because I'm going to say, oh, okay, well, then there's somebody else outside of Restrepo. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then pressuring the quarterback, like you said, hell, even when they try to run, a couple of those tackles behind the line of scrimmage or something would have added a couple of extra sacks too, in the process. So, yeah, it's just those were like, if I had to nitpick against that opponent, that would be the stuff that I'm nitpicking on and concerned about overall. TVD, I thought played well. Dude, I thought Jake Garcia, that one pass where he shifted a little bit and then completed it, I thought that was like, pocket awareness, manipulating the pocket, all that. I really like that. And hell, he was sharp. What was he, 7 of 7 or something like that?
8 of 8, yeah.
Or 8 of 8. There you go. So the quarterbacks really impressed me. And I really like what I saw from Jake. And that's something that obviously it's so important just in case something happens to TVD.
Yeah, I think what I liked about him is you got to see him with the first team offensive line, which usually in a lot of these scrimmages that they had, he was always running with the second team. So he's not going to look as good not having the best protection. So they gave him 2 series with the starting offensive unit, and he had more than enough time to throw the football, and he made great decisions with the ball. Didn't put the ball in harm's way, which is something that he's known for being a little bit too much of a gunslinger at times. Like you said, evaded the pressure well. More than anything, I know it's Bethune-Cookman, but I wanted to see that offensive line kick somebody's ass, and they did for the most part. Like there were very few negative plays at all with that offensive line, and
I like the running backs. They
did a good job, and that's without even the Rooster playing, right? I mean, that's just Parrish and essentially Thaddeus Franklin and a couple of walk-ons. So they ran for over 300 yards. I mean, they did what they were supposed to, but yes, there were blemishes. There were moments that you sit there and you say, okay, these could be troubling signs. All in all, though, you look at the rest of the ACC, right? I don't know if you watched the rest of the conference this weekend, but everybody's got warts. Everybody has warts.
No, I mean, App State scoring 8,000 points on North Carolina.
Yeah,
I mean, bro, that's some stuff there, man.
Yeah, and yet their quarterback looks phenomenal. Drake May looks unbelievable. I mean, for first year guy taking over, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, for North Carolina. So there, every team has little bit that you like, a little bit that you don't like. I think Miami is perfectly positioned to what we were talking about in the preseason, which is they can win that division. They should win that division and get to the ACC title game, and we'll see. The one takeaway I had from last night's game, I don't know if you watched Clemson and Georgia Tech. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious the freshman kid is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that one series that he was in there, it felt like, okay, he takes them up to an entirely different level.
They got somebody there. Yeah, I'm with you there. No doubt.
So,
by the way, can you see Mario doing this?
Huh? Not even close, brother. Not even close. Maybe after the national championship game, but that's about it.
There you go.
Mac
Mario.
Brown, baby. 71 years
That's it.
old.
Yeah.
Celebrate life, I guess.
That is awesome right there, dude. Put that shit on. Huh? Put that shit on. I give anything to see Mario do this. There's no shot in hell you get
None.
Mario to do this, bro.
Zero.
None. Nada.
Not.
Nada.
No.
If
I think
he'd
they'd
look
have
at
to
you
have
with
won the
a face
national
like,
championship.
yeah, he'd look at you like a face like, are you serious? Do you want to be on this team? You know, that kind of stuff. Like I took away the chain and you want me to do this shit. Right?
By the way, did you like that little moment where he chewed out Cam Kitchen's ass?
Yeah,
For,
enough of the bullshit. Is that what you're talking about? Is that one?
yes.
Yes. Yeah. That was. Hey, bro. Listen, it's got to happen. This is the way it's got. The law has got to be laid down. You got to be a football coach at times, and buddy system does not work.
Yeah.
In football, it just doesn't, man. After the person's earned it, and then you know that person's an incredibly hard worker and all that, then you can get to that point where you can actually be a little, you can let your guard down. But he's right now where he's got to make sure everybody, for the cliche, crosses every T and dots every I and all that stuff. And yeah, I get it. I have no problem with what he did and how he's handling things. I think he's handled everything beautifully.
By the way, I thought it was funny how immediately Cam Kitchen spikes the ball and then runs over to the bench and stands on the bench, right, to celebrate. Just like it was almost as if they forgot the turnover chain was gone for a half second.
Right.
Did they not? I mean, it was almost a full-on celebration. So it tells you that no matter how much a guy like Mario Cristobal beats this message down their head in camp, right? No turnover chain, cut the bullshit, all that stuff. Naturally, that's who these kids are.
Right.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
So that it should show the public how difficult this is.
Me society, bro. That's what they are. They're in the me society.
You have to me, you have to look at signs like that and take it for what it is, man. It doesn't matter what coach is there. You have to really yank this behavior out of these kids. And it takes a lot. It takes a big effort.
Right. And then they think also just because you say it, you may not live up to it. You might let them get away with it. And now they know they're not going to get away with it. And so now the line in the official line in the sand was drawn. Because I'm sure when the film room came around the next day, I'm sure it was brought up again, like, yo, I don't want to see this shit. There's nothing to celebrate here. Behind the scenes, he probably told them, what are you celebrating? You beat Bethune-Cookman. Right. He's probably telling him that. Well, it's like what was it? East Carolina Western University or whatever the hell. It wasn't East Carolina. It was like Eastern Michigan or whatever it was. Remember that game that they barely won?
Central Michigan. 17-12. Yep.
They barely won, and then you had the idiots on the sideline celebrating like they just beaten Alabama or something. It's like, dude, you beat Central Michigan.
But
shut up and go to the locker room already.
This is what I mean. That little moment is what I mean when I say the kids are different nowadays. When I keep saying that to you over and over again and seeing these kids the way they are, and Cam Kitchens is a great kid. He's a great kid. He is smart. He's a good player.
Yeah.
But inside of them, this is who they are. And as a coach, you have this battle to try to get them to see it your way. It's not an easy battle. It's just not.
Yeah. They don't do it at Alabama, do they? They don't have any big ass celebrations or anything. They just high five each other and walk the hell off the field, right?
Yep.
That's it. They do like the regular football celebration. None of this elaborate crap that's been invented now.
That's because the day that those kids walked in there, that was the message they got from day one. And that's not the case. Cam Kitchens played for Manny Diaz last year. It was a different environment. So that's why when we say, hey, can a coach has to bring in his players, right? His culture. That's what we mean from the get-go. Those freshmen come in expecting and knowing what it is. Not, hey, we played under somebody else. That's why it always takes time.
What can you tell us about Southern Miss outside of Frank Gore Jr.?
Don't throw the ball a whole lot. Think they threw it 13 times, ran it 54 times in this game, only 5 completions. So they're a very one-dimensional team in that sense. I know they had a couple of quarterbacks dinged up in that game, and they rotated through. Defensively, very aggressive, going to blitz a whole lot, bring a lot of pressure. They've got some kids that are decent athletes and players. Liberty is a good program. Hugh Freeze has done a good job there. So it's not like, and they took him quadruple overtime to lose to Liberty. So, they're a better opponent than what Miami faced last week, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And again, what I want to see this week is that the offensive line continues to perform at a high level. It doesn't give up pressures, because they didn't give up. They gave up, I think, 4 pressures the whole game against Bethune-Cookman. No sacks, very few tackles for loss. If Miami can be that physical team, which is what Mario wants them to be, then they can be very successful this year, because they will dictate the line of scrimmage, and they will be able to keep teams like Texas A&M, who's super talented, in check. If you have a great offensive line, you can stay in that game. So I want to see that this week. If we start to see cracks in the armor for that offensive line this week, then I'm going to be very concerned going to Texas A&M, because that team is no joke.
Yeah, no, definitely. Of course. That's a loaded SEC club, man. And Jimbo's been there already a few years now. So that's going to be one hell of a test for them going into this game. Did you see that? I forgot who it was now. They have a celebration called it's a basketball hoop, and they have to dunk it. Did you see?
I didn't see that one.
Who was it that oh man, who was I talking? Maybe it was Saturday's show. Let me see. Or no, I didn't have a Saturday. It was a Friday show. Let me see. Was it Fridays that we were talking about it? Yes. The Pitt Panthers. They have a turnover hoop. So they literally bring out a hoop
and dunk.
And you dunk the football in it. And then the whole team jumps with you. So guess what I think is going to happen? Somebody's blowing a knee ligament.
Hey,
I hate to say it, but Bill Gramatica did it. Martine's brother, remember?
Mm-hmm.
He hit that field goal. He jumped up in celebration. Bam, he popped in. We had a Tennessee linebacker. I believe he lives here in South Florida. He's a good player. He had like some kind of a sack or something, jumped up in the air, blew out a knee ligament. He was out for the season on a silly celebration.
LSU just lost a great player on their defense, Mason Smith. They're big time defensive lineman against FSU, jumping up in the air.
Oh, that's right. I missed that.
Landing on his knee, and he's done for the year.
I kind of saw that game on and off. That's why. So I missed that. Wow.
That's where I thought you were going next. That's why I said
I missed that. Because I kind of watched that game half-ass.
Yeah.
I really didn't think that FSU was going to win that game.
They're improved.
At the end, I'm like, yo, what the hell's going on here? So yeah. I didn't think much of Norville either.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like, damn, I got to bring out my man Ira Schofel to talk a little bit more about that. Like, yo, what the hell's going on? Wow. No, but seriously, I think these silly celebrations like that one, like everybody's, dude, it's like go look at it. The turnover hoop, go look at it. It's on Twitter all over the place. And they're all jumping next to each other. Somebody's going to land on somebody's ankle or something like that. I hate to see that. Some silly ass celebration, and you're going to lose a player because of it. Sucks.
Well, you asked me last week, are they going to have a chain or something? I told you no. I didn't think Mario would go for it.
Good.
That's all gone, bro.
I wouldn't even let them run through the smoke until they earn it. That's what I would do. I would take out the smoke and hey, coach, what happened to smoke? Earn it.
Mm-hmm.
Show me that you can be champions, and the smoke will come back. The people that ran through the smoke, their names were Warren Sapp. Their names were, Walsh. Their names were, guys that won it all here, guys that were big-time players here. So when you're Willis McGahee, you can run through the smoke. None of you have earned the right to be Willis McGahee, so you don't get to run through the smoke. I would even take the smoke away from their ass. That's what I would do.
I have no problem with it, especially if they make any stupid penalties or continue to celebrate,
I'm just saying, yeah, dude, get back to being the Canes, and then you can have all the smoke you want, because then they don't want your smoke.
Right.
And that's what I want to see. I'd turn it on them. Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, you guys ain't bringing that smoke. We're not giving it to you. That's what I would say. That's all.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'm glad they took away that stupid turnover chain. I hated that turnover. I became such a negative Nelly on that, because when you have a turnover and you're losing and you're on the sideline celebrating some stupid turnover and you're down by 10, 20, 30 points, to me, it makes zero sense that you should be celebrating. You got a turnover, hand it to the referee, get your ass to the sidelines, and get back to trying to get the lead. Then celebrate.
Well,
You
that was the problem with Manny
right?
Diaz in the sense that
Yeah,
he'd never experienced what that winning was like. So you had to celebrate those small victories. He never
right,
knew what it was like to really win big. He didn't play
right,
the game.
right.
That's the experience of Mario Cristobal. That's
The beauty of it.
when you talk about a guy who has accomplished something, he knows the
A real
heights.
Kane. A real Kane.
He knows the real heights of what a program should be. That's why for years you and I said he was the guy for this job.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you nailed it years ago when you said you got to stop hiring the new coach. You got to hire the guy that's already been there and done it. And, for a few years, that wasn't Mario until he got to Oregon and then he got the job done. By the way, I think they missed Mario a little bit this weekend.
They kind of did, didn't they? Well,
Holy
somebody
shit.
asked me, they said, what does that say about the players he recruited? I'm like, did we forget that the transfer portal exists
Lost
now?
guys too. Yeah.
Like, I mean, how many kids did they lose? And then you have a new coach come in, new system.
They fell off a 2,000-foot Oregon cliff right into the Pacific in that game. I mean, wow. They went back to being Oregon.
What I tell people in response is, do you remember when they went to Ohio State last year and won?
Yeah.
That was just last year. It wasn't like 5 years ago. So
right. Yeah. No. They clearly were missing Mario and the staff and everything that came with it. Wow, they got their asses walloped in that one. All right, what are you working on in the Athletics so folks can check you out?
Well, I mean, we just got a new podcast up recently, Wide Right, reviewing the game. We have a write-up from yesterday's interviews with the coaching staff. All that's available. I'm going to have an ACC mailbag later this week. I'm trying to do more ACC-centric stuff, not just Canes related, so you can get a good grasp of the conference. Because if Miami's going to win this thing, well, you got to know what you're up against, right? So a little bit more ACC coverage. And then Canes Barber. I'm going to be writing about my boy Steven Rivera, who has the shop inside of Dolphin Stadium.
I saw it
last month. Yeah,
sweet. Have you seen it? Have you?
Yeah, I've seen photos. I've seen the photos. I haven't been in there.
It's awesome. I mean, you walk in there and you think you're going to order popcorn because there's this big, beautiful counter on the left side with coffee machines and stuff, and you're like, well, okay, I'd like a popcorn, a hot dog before I go see the movie. Because I swear to God, I mean, that place is just. It is. Wow, what a facility, dude. Man, it's probably half as nice as Alabama's, but it's still impressive.
Good life for this kid. It's amazing how his life has changed, man. To go from cutting a couple guys' hair just for fun, now you're working for the Dolphins. So
I tell my daughter this all the time when she was growing up. I said, just find what you love and then do that with passion. And, I'm not saying you're going to get rich. You could get rich, whatever. But you'll be happy and you'll end up getting paid to do what you love. And that is the ultimate satisfaction, and ultimately, look, he was doing what he loves, and it got to a point now where he's probably also making a good life for himself too in the process. And God bless you, man. That's when you're doing what you love, it's never really a job every day. Like yesterday, I did 3 hours and 40 minutes on Labor Day. And I didn't have to. I don't have to do it. I run the whole damn platform. I can take it off if I felt like it, but I didn't because there's a lot going on. And what the hell? I love to do it.
We're very blessed people. You and I. We get to do what we love. Dan Lebitard told me years ago when I worked with him at the Herald, he said, we're stealing money. And he's right. We are.
That's right. I ran a supermarket for a couple of years, brother, working like 100 hours a week, and I don't want a real job ever again.
Nope.
Okay. I am trying to. That's what I tell people all the time. This is 32-year streak of not having a real job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay with it. No matter how many hours I can work in a day or a week or how many articles you write, we never feel like we're punching some clock. Never feel that. So
you work in the candy store of life. So
damn right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work at The Athletic. More importantly, subscribe to The Athletic so he can do what he loves. Manny, appreciate you, my man. We'll talk later on in the week.
Good talking to you. Talk to you soon.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro. Remember, Caneswear. Go to caneswear.com. You order over $99, free shipping. That is Manny Navarro.
If you're
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.